Good morning. Madam Mayor, how are you doing this morning? Good. Welcome to our CompStat meeting covering the period from April 24th of this year to May 3rd of this year. Captain Israel, as a district captain, you want to start us off?
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, start off with clearance rates that we have for the year to date and then for this period. For total persons crimes, for year to date is going to be 88% clearance rate. For this period, the month of April to May, 96% clearance rate for total part one crime or total persons crime.
Explain that real quick.
So persons crimes would be, I don't like to say the H word, but assaults, batteries, homicides, that type of stuff, kidnappings, forcible felonies on person crimes. The national average for that clearance rate is 41% nationally, and thank you. For us, sitting at 96% clearance rate is phenomenal.
More than 2.5 times what the national rate
More
is
than
of crime.
Exactly. And then property crimes, of course, are car breaks, burglaries, larcenies, shoplifting, that type of stuff, frauds. So for us, year to date, we're at 46% clearance rate, actually 37% clearance rate, and then for the period is 38% clearance rate. Now, if you take out frauds, because the majority of this is frauds, and we'll talk a little bit about frauds, that bumps our average up to 57% clearance rate. The national average, again, is 17%, so we're sitting pretty good based on national averages with clearance rate. I'll move on to traffic, and I'll let Sergeant Barnes discuss some of our traffic initiatives and the progress we've been making, and then I'll follow up with him.
Good morning. Sergeant Barnes with the Sheriff's Office, the traffic and motor supervisor for District 6. So just a couple of things that we've done this past quarter. At the end of March, beginning of April, we conducted a golf cart traffic operation, specifically Friday nights and Saturday mornings, targeting those that are unregistered golf carts, driving on unauthorized roads and crossing at unauthorized sections of CRB. So over the past month, we did 17 city citations, 6 regular citations, and 4 warnings. At the end of April, we conducted a pedestrian crosswalk operation on Dirksen and Mansion. In 4 hours, we wrote 68 citations.
That is a shame, since that has been well documented over the last year, and there have been multiple enforcements at exactly that place.
Unfortunately, since our last meeting here, we had another THI. This one was at the end of High Banks near the marina. It was a single vehicle into a tree. We do believe alcohol was a factor in that. With that said, we do have several DUI operations coming up that coincide with the holidays, such as Memorial Day and 4th of July. And then currently we have 2 active steps on DeBerry Drive and Amigos Road. These are roads that people are utilizing as cut-throughs to get from Dirksen to High Banks, or from I-4 to Dirksen to CRB.
Very good, Sarge.
To follow up on that, I'm looking at some numbers here, and this is to highlight or indicate what's been going on as far as shifting resources. So looking at what I have here as far as traffic stops, January we had 884 traffic stops. April we had 660. That's in District 6 alone. In the city of DeBerry, January we had 294 traffic stops, and in April we had 259 traffic stops. So it appears we're doing less traffic stops than we normally would be, when in actuality, because our guys and girls are out there enforcing traffic, they're knowing, or the behavior is changing in our transient traffic through here. When you come through DeBerry, you need to slow down. So on the flip side of that, because we're hitting the major thoroughfares, Enterprise, 1792, that type of thing, we're starting to get more complaints in the residential areas. So traffic is coming through trying to circumvent the main thoroughfares. It also is an increase when we have accidents on I-4. So I would encourage the citizens of DeBerry, some have done so, others can follow suit. Give us a call if you notice that. We'll send resources out there and attack it aggressively.
Everybody's listening, but the people don't have golf carts.
No, right? As far as, even though the numbers are down with traffic stops, arrests have been up. So these traffic stops that are being made are significant traffic stops. We've had an increase in felony arrests. April, we've had 18, where in January it was 5. Misdemeanor arrests were down a little bit. We have 53 in January and 43 in April. So again, the behaviors are changing. When we are initiating traffic stops, they're more significant, and we're hitting people who really need to get stopped. Okay?
Not about quantity, it's about quality.
Quality, correct. So moving into crime, we'll start off with aggravated assault, so batteries. We have 2. The first one was in DeBerry, 451 Lazio Circle. This incident was an employee and employer. They were over at a house in DeBerry for a kid's birthday party, and the employer decided he wanted to, or the employee decided he wanted to assault the employer in his residence over issue with a female. The fight ensued. The employee lost to the employer and decided he wanted to pull a gun. Well, the employer and his significant other retrieved the gun from him and held him down until law enforcement got there. This was cleared by arrest. The second one is going to be in Orange City, 711 Sunset. This was, the victim was in the process of loading up his trailer when the suspect came up. Again, this was over a female, and hit him in the head with a pipe. He fled before law enforcement got on scene, but with diligent efforts through deputies, we were able to take him into custody the following day.
Just to point out what a derelict property this place is. The victim, 16 felony arrests and 12 misdemeanor arrests. The witness, 49 felony arrests, 22 misdemeanor arrests. And the suspect, 30 felony arrests and 32 misdemeanor arrests. You talk about a den of iniquity.
Yes.
You know.
And to my surprise, it looks a whole lot better than it did years ago, even though it's still a, whole armpit. I'm going to go over now domestic violence related cases. For DV-related cases, we have 16 CB8. The DV-related cases all stem with, matters of the heart. The numbers are up. However, our clearance rate for those are close to 100%. Domestic violence.
The numbers are up, in all fairness, countywide. The numbers
Yes.
are way up this year, and I don't know why, because like we say, we make all, there's 16 arrests. I think there was, what's the number in Deltona you had the other day? 40-something, right? 47 for this same period with, 46 arrests. So.
And for this period here, it's up 6. I don't want to say only, it's up 6, but again, the clearance rate on that is 100% with the arrest.
And it only takes one incident, as we saw in Deltona, with the domestic violence where he killed her.
Yes. I want to bring your attention to page 4. It was an intimidation case. 115 DeBerry Drive. This was a contractor who lives in the city of DeBerry. One of his clients that he did work for was not happy with the work. He felt that he overpriced him, began sending threats, communication through text. We do have a warrant out on him, I believe. This was TOT, the CID.
Lieutenant Calkins, Investigative Services Section. We're waiting on some legal process, and then we'll have a warrant. We have a warrant on him. So.
Okay. Moving on to simple assault, 1350 Almond Street. This was also cleared by arrest. This was a issue between roommates. We're going to get into property crime, burglary, at 253 Grande Vista, DeBerry. This was a car break, essentially. The victim noticed that her car was ransacked. She delayed reporting because of the time of night, but the individuals were caught on video, surveillance going through her car. Because of the poor quality of the vehicle, the video, we were unable to identify through video who those individuals were, but this was turned over to CID.
We're completing some additional legal process for these cases. Generally, this take a little bit of time to get back, and we're waiting some of the latent prints as well.
Okay. The next burglary is going to be 58 North Charles R. Bill. This was overnight burglary at the jewelry store. It wasn't to the jewelry store. It was a propane tank that was behind a jewelry store. A known transient in the area decided he wanted to take this propane tank. But what he did in his infinite wisdom while he was there, noticed the surveillance camera. So he took out his phone and started recording the surveillance camera that was recording him. From that, and because of deputies knowing him, we were able to take him into custody from the video. So that was cleared by
Being
arrest.
stupid helps, the clearance rate, that's what they know.
It does. Moving on to 237 Tom's Road. This is another residential burglary. So the owner of this home temporarily was displaced due to a tree falling in her, damaging her roof. After making a claim with the insurance company, they suggested a company to come and fix their home, a contractor. Once the work was done, she returned home and she noticed that a locked bedroom door had been forced open and jewelry missing. This was turned over to detectives.
So we've tracked down the company and all the individuals that are involved. We've interviewed all of them, and we are now just waiting. We've checked all the ponds and the marketplaces. We're continuing to check all those, and we're waiting on some evidence collected by the crime scene unit.
This domestic violence robbery is something that we discussed already. It was cleared by arrest. I just want to highlight the fact that it was robbery because of the taking of a phone or preventing someone from using a cell phone. So that's where the robbery came into play. We have a theft enterprise farm. 2399 Enterprise Road is the farm's furniture. So this employee was terminated or resigned. In the day of resignation, she decided she wanted to give away a couple of mattresses to individuals. This was captured on video. We were able to track down some of the mattresses that were given away. We recovered some of the property. We did identify the suspect. We know who she is. She is in Carolina right now. There is a warrant for her arrest. We're just attempting to obtain her or locate her. And that's all we have for crime, Sheriff.
Real quick, what are we doing as far as documenting and cleaning out homeless camps? Because if you look in here, there's 4 arrests, 5 arrests were homeless.
So we have 2 initiatives we had. We started with sending patrol out, locating the transient camps, FIing those. We have a program in place where the property owners can sign a trespass authorization form. That gives the sheriff's office the ability to arrest on site if they do not belong there on property. So we put that in place. We went out and identified the transient camps and removed everyone from those camps, and then we go back and we check those periodically. We recently had I'll call it a TNT for lack of just for simplicity. It's a transient narcotics and traffic enforcement thing that we did a month ago, where we went and targeted transient camps. We targeted areas where transients traverse, and in doing so, we made 7 arrests, 32 citations on the traffic side, and we recovered a meth seizure. But with that, we, again, FI these individuals. If we don't have a basis to arrest them, we'll FI them. And as you can tell from the success in arrests, like the burglary to the jewelry store there, knowing who our transients are in the area, keeping tabs on them, help us be successful with the...
And FI means field interrogate. You go out, find out who they are, they get photos of them, and that's how they identified the propane tank. As soon as they saw the video, like, hey, that's so-and-so. I stopped him before. So that...
Another thing I want to talk about, there was a vandalism in here that it happened over in Valentine's Park in Orange City. There was 2 juveniles who went in there and decided they wanted to cause destruction to the urinal in the restroom and then the concession stand. Video up there was, again, poor quality, so we were not able to identify them. We've put other measures in place now to address that issue there, and we haven't had any issues there. However, we believe those individuals, in additional juveniles, continue to cause destruction. It's not in this reporting period, but we recently had an incident down at Benson Junction along the trails down by the railroad track where we had some vandalism. We had graffiti written on a train. There was some derogatory terms and inappropriate pictures spray painted. We've since identified those 2 individuals and arrested them. Based on what I know now, and of course they're still looking into it, these individuals may be responsible for some of the other graffiti happening up in Orange City along the trailhead of West Blue Springs and the trail. So part of this TNT operation and other operations that will be happening in the future will address those issues or target those issues to be addressed, in addition to our motor unit. Our motor unit go out there as well as patrol, and they actually ride up and down the trail just for presence and see what's going on and address any issues that we can address. When
Want
we
to tell us
can.
about the two little cherubs?
They're both DeBerry residents, and this is their first arrest.
Where they go to school?
River Springs Middle.
And the one kid he was caught on video with the spray can in his
Yes.
hand.
And they actually videotaped themselves doing it.
I guess, Madam Mayor, you don't have enough, they don't read the emails of all the stuff you guys are doing, to keep kids engaged and stuff, so they just figure to go around with a spray paint can is a lot easier. You guys want to touch on the robbery we had the other day, the robbery at the 7-Eleven? It's not in this reporting period, but the 7-Eleven got robbed.
Yes, sir. Yes, we had a robbery down at the 7-Eleven. We've been following up with a few individuals. I think we got one identified. We're currently waiting on some more investigative techniques in order to shore it up. But it was a one-off incident down there so far. So we're pretty confident. So.
They did a really good job, but they just want to shore it up because the identification wasn't really there. But the person was nice enough to wear a McDonald's uniform to commit the robbery, which was
Right.
it's called the clue. So we hope here, probably within the next week, we should have that person in custody. Michael, you want to talk about narcotics and overdoses?
Short. I think this thing is stuck. So I'll start with overdoses. So far, they're down countywide 38%, almost 39%, but specifically in DeBerry, they're down 63%.
Oh, wow.
So that's moving in the right direction. Narcotics has 11 open cases for DeBerry alone right now. For District 6 as a whole, we've done 2 search warrants so far, none in DeBerry, but we do have some that we're working through right now. Narcotic seizures, we've seized about $29,000 in narcotics so far, just in this area alone. But for the county, we're almost at $1.2 million for the value, and that's just narcotics. That's not including what patrol deputies seize and during their daily duties. So, vape operations, we've done those in the past, and alcohol. We did it a couple months ago. We visited 4 places in District 6. All were in compliance. So in the past, we've had a couple of
Word's getting
violations.
out. Yeah, word's
It is, but we're going to continue to do it.
Some people get arrested 3 and 4 times. When you read the
Yeah.
report, it's the 4th time we arrested the clerk at the same store.
We've had it in the past where we've gone and done an operation and ran to people, and they commit another violation, we run them, and they got a warrant for the prior incident. So they get arrested on the warrant and they get charged again. So, but there will be more in the future. I want to talk about 7-Eleven Sunset. We just did a search warrant in DeLand, and we called code enforcement out. They're going through the process of trying to clean up that property. There's only one structure that's permitted. All the others are not, so they're going through the process right now to get rid of the other structures. I think they're trying to convince him to sell it because he's going to lose a lot of money if they let him the county take it over. And one other thing I want to touch on is, just so that you're aware, and it was just brought to my attention this morning, for the past several months, they've been using my name for scams. I guess when people get tickets, people are going through the clerk's site, they'll call them, say, hey, this is Sergeant Mike Anderson with the Sheriff's Office. It's not me. I'm not trying to take people's money. But if that does happen in the past, they can call, verify. I've gotten several emails where I got to call people and say it's not me. So it's an ongoing trend. They use my name daily. So if you hear anything, or if anybody does, we're not going to ask you for money or a money card or Bitcoin or anything like that.
My daughter got a ticket here in DeBerry around the time of my husband's death. And she's normally a real slow driver, but she was speeding on Barwick. And 6 days later, she got a phone call, and I don't remember whose name it was. It could have been yours. And so the new system that puts those in immediately is being tapped immediately. And the individual said, the story for her was, our system has been down all week, and we're trying to reboot it, and we're trying to get it back, and we're really backlogged. So if you would just pay your ticket now, we'll clean it up. It won't even go into the system. And at the point he asked her for money is when initially she thought she was talking to the sheriff's office, because she did have a ticket within 6 days. And when he got to the part about money, she's like, thank you, no, and click, and
Right.
hung up. And that was about 6 weeks ago.
Well, it's out there because, what's today, Thursday? Tuesday, I got about 5 emails from our residents saying, hey, I got a phone call from a sergeant or a lieutenant saying this, is it a scam? Yes, it's a scam. You want to touch base on what we're doing?
So, Sheriff, we implemented the financial crime unit a couple months ago, and we're now up to a sergeant and 4 detectives. Just for 2025, they've reviewed over 100 cases and assigned 71 cases, I believe the last count was. For the financial crimes unit, it's anything that's $20,000 or over, and then anything below that would stay with the district level. So the amount of frauds is unreal. We just acquired new software for the unit that allows them to actually actively trace and target cryptocurrencies. We only had one person doing it at one point, but now we have three doing it, so the seizures will significantly increase. But every single complaint that you send us and any type of financial crimes that we get reported, every single person is contacted, no matter how small it is, just so we can help them and try and recover whatever losses they have.
Yeah, you guys are making great headway. Do you want to touch on what we're working on as far as the tapping into the database and where we're headed with that? And I don't know how generic or whatever. I mean, some of those people ain't going anywhere. They're in state prison.
So just to touch on the software that Captain Cameron was referencing, we're one of the very few agencies in the area that have that, and now we have 3 detectives doing that. So that's very cutting edge, and I can't wait to see the results of that. But there are several very common scams right now, one being the one that you talked about. But also, if you have a family member arrested, people will get phone calls pretty quickly saying, hey, they can be released on bond right now if you'll pay this $1,200 to pay for a GPS tracker. That's a really common one. Of course, the Publishers Clearinghouse, and then jury duty. So you miss jury duty, you have to pay $1,000 or you're gonna be held in contempt of court. Those are going around like rapid fire, and people are paying them. And I'm getting phone calls personally from people that I know, just like, hey, I was about to pay this, but I just wanted to double check. So this isn't just targeting elderly. People of all ages are falling for this. We do have a couple pretty good cases going right now involving these, including one that's a kind of a nationwide ring. And we've identified numerous people. We've already got arrest warrants on a few of them. And I anticipate over the next few weeks we'll have arrest warrants probably on another 10 or 12 more.
They will be greeted at Daytona Beach International Airport by me and the fraud unit.
Great.
And these are all small
Right.
frauds, like
Yeah.
$600, $1,000.
Right.
But the amount they're putting out there, it's
Right.
just blossomed at a lot.
Do you have, I know that you can make public records requests anonymously, but do you have any ability to tap the system to see who is regularly pulling all of the traffic tickets, for example? Who is regularly pulling all of the arrest warrants? Somebody is regularly doing it. Now, if it's a traffic ticket, it's not a local lawyer. I mean, local lawyers don't get involved in a small-time speeding ticket.
We have a very robust IT section, so
I'm just saying, if you knew who was, because my daughter got the call on her personal cell within 6 days. Now, you can find her probably on the web. She's been in the same house in Winter Park for 20-some years. So, and she's worked for governments. So she's, you do a search, you're smart, you can probably find this phone number. But within 6 days, they knew she had a ticket, and they called her. And so somebody is pulling them very promptly after they're in the system. And so if you had somebody that's pulling them like every single day, traffic tickets, to me, that would be something to look at. But
you can search it right now on the internet, and you don't have to put your name in there. You can go to the clerk's website and see it. You can look at the actual citation and the name on it. We've talked about potentially talking to the legislator about making some changes there, because this is, now it's traffic tickets, before it was arrest. So people are exploiting the public records laws in Florida, but we're probably into the billions of dollars in losses across the state now because of it. Or at least redacting some names and some personal information to where, the offenders don't have unique information to help, commit their fraud.
Yeah, they should be. We're already trying to craft the language for the next legislative session to figure out a way where that information can be redacted. Because you can search, you can have a burner IP address that's in there. It's not going to go anywhere. and they're slick enough.
The only thing I was thinking of, if it's repeatedly the same for 1 week, it's repeatedly. Somebody-
It's so easy now to mask who's searching. You know, I mean, you can even on your iPhone, you can choose a public browser or a private browser. And most of these are not using things that we can actually track.
It's a great idea because
So easy to mask that.
the one ring we're working on, there's lifers in prison that are part of this, and the money's going into their commissary is where it's going. So, but again, it's a nationwide investigation, but we can't stress enough that no law enforcement agency, I don't care if it's federal, state, county, or municipal, calls you and asks you for money. They don't do it. ICE doesn't call you and tell you there's a deportation warrant, give us $5,000 and the deportation warrant's going away. It doesn't happen. So, okay, very good. Michael, great job. Eric, anything you need to add?
Yeah, I've just got a few things from a countywide standpoint. I'll just kind of share some stats with that. Eric Egan, I'm the commander of Special Investigations Section, which encompasses the narcotics units, drug task forces, domestic security, and Volusia County Crime Center. So kind of wanted to start off with the Volusia County Crime Center. Had the privilege last night, Sergeant Gowan and I were actually in the crime center when that active killer incident occurred over in Port Orange, and just watching those analysts work, it was like watching an orchestra. I actually came home and told my wife how phenomenal it was. Like they weren't even talking. There was minor communication between the two of them. Somebody was putting the suspect vehicle in the hot list for the license plate readers. They had the guy's DL up on their screen within 30 seconds. It was just unbelievable to see them work and the phenomenal job that they do. Kind of want to brag about them because they do, and that's a free resource to the city,
Sure.
you know, through our contracts. So just a great job. And as little as 3 days ago, they helped Daytona Beach Police Department identify a bank robber. Within a couple minutes, they had verified who that person was. So great work that they're doing.
Do you know who brought that concept to Volusia County?
Yeah.
Do you know who that was?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
actually.
Guy's not a bad guy.
It was.
Might not think that in Pearson, but the guy's not a bad guy.
I think he was a chief at the time, somewhere.
Might have been.
like
Yeah.
the
I
Daytona
can't think of the
Beach
guy's
area.
name.
Yes,
It kind
sir.
of evades me
Yeah.
right now.
So we do have 8.
I won't throw my shoulder out.
He hears the intent.
No, we've got 8 analysts, and it's a partnership. We've got 2 from Daytona, 1 from Port Orange, working on some other cities to, that take advantage of the value of the crime center and use us daily. But
I don't want to cut you off, but I think to really add to what you're saying, what I started in Daytona and what it is now, it is completely different, man. People in this room have gone out to search technology throughout the world to say, we need this in there. And you walk in there now, it's like, it's your head spins around. You're more than invited to come out and take a look at it, especially if you're lucky and to catch them working on an incident. It's pretty impressive.
yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, they've got 4 computer screens up at once, and they're full. Like it's amazing. It really was amazing. So from a countywide perspective on narcotics, Mike or Sergeant Anderson touched on some of these statistics, but we've year to date we have executed 33 search warrants, made 75 felony arrests, 16 misdemeanor. A lot of misdemeanor are related to the drug and alcohol or the alcohol and tobacco operations that we do routinely across the county. Seized 16 firearms, almost $250,000 of funds associated with narcotics activity, 13.5 kilos of cocaine, 126 pounds of cannabis, marijuana, fentanyl, 1/4 kilo, and just to put that in perspective, 1 kilo can kill 500,000 people, lethal doses. So we're looking at about 164,000 people that could have died from just that third of a kilo of fentanyl. 14 kilos of meth, miscellaneous pills, and I think Mike mentioned total narcotic value of over $1 million. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I've got a phenomenal team They do awesome work for the community, and I'm very proud of them.
Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks.
Sean, every once in a while you get an immigration question you want to talk about it. We've always cooperated. We've never not cooperated with ICE. We have 287G. We're just not trained to enforce federal civil law, but you want to talk about what we're doing?
Sure. Anna, can you pull up the immigration slide? Thank you. So in support of ICE's initiatives on illegal immigrants, what we're doing is when in our daily duties, when we have contacts with people who we either suspect or develop reason to believe that they have entered the country illegally, we go through a list of questions that ICE has provided us, and we maintain that on a spreadsheet, and we share that information with ICE. What we do is we track them on our spreadsheet that they've been arrested, put into the Volusia County Jail. We monitor their local case progress, and then additionally, we track ICE's efforts and try to support that to let them know, hey, they're about to finish up their county time, so if you're interested in a detainer or a deportation warrant, they're available for that action. So currently, since late February, early March, there's 63 contacts we've had. Just to put it in perspective, 2 of those are in the District 6 area. And of those, we just continue to monitor those. So that's where we're at on the immigration side of things.
So last week, there were 5 car stops that led to 5 detainers. 5 people arrested for no driver's license. Investigation showed they were probably in the country illegally. And then when we contacted ICE, they had detainers lodged on them.
That's correct.
It's also to note, of those 60-some-odd contacts, 2 were Chinese nationals, right?
That's
And
correct.
1 was Jamaican, who we grabbed with, what, 15 kilos?
Correct.
Is that guy responsible for bringing, and he was here on a work visa. Unfortunately, he didn't read the fine print. It said he was not allowed to be in pharmaceutical sales on his work permit, but he decided that he was going to, go the other way. But I appreciate the fact that a lot of people don't know what we do because we don't publicize it, but we've never not cooperated. We've signed all the agreements. We haven't been trained to enforce federal civil law yet, but this is what we're doing with everybody we come in contact with that we suspect that. So thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
Carla, juveniles, and what's the summer program? This is your green week, right? Green dress yesterday, green dress today. It's not that easy being green.
Good morning. I'm Carla Kwan, Director of Juvenile Services. We are seeing an increase around the county with juveniles with car breaks. And again, people leaving their guns in the car, so the juveniles are getting their hands on the guns. This summer, we have summer programs going on, but we're going to do a new initiative, partnering with the school board to work on truancy, because these kids are not going to school. So when they're not going to school, they're out committing crimes, and we're going to educate the parents about the law of truancy, the importance of going to school. We understand that college is not for everyone, but there's other options. But to reach those other options, you have to have, some education. So that's our goal, to get our kids back into school, get them focused so they can be productive citizens in society.
One of the things we're seeing with the car breaks is, unbeknownst to us, DCF may take a kid out of Gainesville and place him in with a family in Deltona, and next thing you know, we have 30 car breaks in the neighborhood. We never knew that this kid was on probation or whatever up in Gainesville, so they moved the problem to another county. So we're working on getting an alert system from DCF that, hey, this kid who has done all these things in Gainesville is now in DeBarry or Deltona or wherever he's at, so that we get a heads up after 30 car breaks, and it's like we discover, oh, this kid was just put here 2 weeks ago. So we're trying to get ahead of the curve on that. School command. What do you got? Let him sit next to the mayor. He's got such a nice personality.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Captain Smith, the commander of the Youth Services Section, also the Director of Safety and Security for Volusia County Schools. Since we last talked, we've been very busy. We've had almost 900 4-5 Florida tips, 33 arrests for threats to schools, and 51 weapons recovered so far this school year. To combat some of that, we've been using the evolved metal detectors at Atlantic High School and CK2 at Pine Ridge High School. Basically, the concept is that we'll roll them out to all secondary schools over the next 2 years. We've also expanded our canine usage to include random screenings where the canine will have the kids step out of the class, they'll walk through, make sure there's no weapons in there, and then move on to the next class. We've had 33 schools that were audited by the state this year, and we have a 94% compliance rate.
You were 100.
We were. So the last quarter, we were 100. Overall, for the whole school year, we're at 94. The state average is somewhere around 50%. And of the two incidents that we had that put us at a 94%, one was a door that malfunctioned, and the other was a safe zone identifier. So point of concept, they're required to have hundreds, maybe even thousands of documents per school to document all the things that they've been doing. And then they go through the school and check the actual physical security of the school itself. So we're doing very, very good there. On Friday, our Zero Eyes weapons detection artificial intelligence goes live. When speaking of the Crime Center, they'll have access to that. They also have access to our Fusus camera system and the Syntegics. So basically, if there's an emergency in the school, they can alert on the Syntegics. It automatically activates the 5 closest cameras to the alert. They can see everything in real time, relay that to us on the deputy's screen. The map pops up with the Knox box, all the emergency locations inside the school, and the exact location where the threat is inside the school. So we can see on really good maps. We got a grant. We have really good maps. The deputies can see exactly where the threat is, so they know where they're going inside the school now. Moving forward, we're getting all set for graduation. We're just a couple weeks out. And then we'll be rolling out our Admin Institute training where we train all of the principals in the school district on our expectations for the next school year so that they know where we stand and what they need to be doing. And then we're also doing training on reunification for all of our staff so that they know what the process is and how to efficiently reunify students with their parents in the event of an emergency. That's pretty much what we got going on right now.
I know I say this to you, and I spent time with you yesterday at the school board. You guys, you men and women over that unit are doing a phenomenal job for us. I really do believe we're leading the state. I mean, I know the last report they said that we were one of the leaders when we get audited all the time.
We are. We also were audited by the Attorney General's office this year, and that is way more complicated than I realized initially. But
Did they find a lot of bloat and inefficiency?
They did not.
Oh,
So
good.
they found that there were no deficiencies in our processes, which is almost unheard
And
of.
that goes also to the partnership we have with the schools, that they have been a tremendous, they could be dragging their feet and fighting us on every turn. Very
Yep.
rarely do we have an issue
They support us fully.
when it comes to that. Thank you. John, speaking of training, John, you want to talk about the academy and our new hire class that we're working on? And
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, Lieutenant John Court. I'm the Assistant Academy Director. Just in about a month here, June 9th, we're starting our 8th Academy class. So far, the results kind of speaks for themselves. Next week, some members of training staff are actually headed to Kissimmee to receive another Perfect Audit Award from CJSTC. So we're pretty excited about that. And again, kudos to our staff. Our civilian staff is phenomenal. And the rest of the sworn Academy training staff as well does a phenomenal job on that. We also have another NDT class that we're formulating. So NDT is those law enforcement officers that are doing pretty much a lateral transfer coming from other agencies out of state. So we're looking to get another about 6 to 8 of those personnel as well. Some other in-service training things that we're looking at as well. We are rolling out, if you want me to talk about the vehicle stuff.
Yep.
So pursuit mobilization technique, the PIT training. We're actually partnering with Daytona International Speedway to do this training out on.
What better place to crash up cars, right?
Yeah. Go fast, turn left, crash cars. Yeah. So that training is going to be rolling out hopefully within the next 30 days. In addition to that, we just started this week a new tactic that we're going to be employing here at the Sheriff's Office. It's going to be vehicle containment techniques, and all this is designed to stop, prevent, and immobilize vehicles before they go high speed and put people's lives at risk. So it's pretty good, innovative training.
Thank you for all that hard work on that.
Got it. Thank you.
And Lieutenant Cobb, we will give you the final say. With Mother's Day coming up and a busy beach weekend,
Yeah, I'm Lieutenant Cobb. I'm the assistant commander of our District 1 area, which encompasses the beach and the unincorporated areas of Beachside. Yeah, we have Mother's Day weekend. The weather looks like maybe it'll wash some of that out, which is good from our perspective. The beach will be, if it's a nice day, the beach will be at capacity by like 9 a.m. For the life of me, I can't figure out why moms want to fight kids and people to get a small spot on the beach and get sunburn all day.
that's
But
why you're not a mom.
they love it. That is one of the busiest weekends of the entire year. But the beach is in full swing. Summer's in full swing. The troops are ready. They're excited for it. We've already handled 3 large-scale events over there. The events continue to come beachside, whether it's the city of Daytona or New Smyrna. We got the kids getting out of school. The seniors get out next week. And then we'll be helping Captain Smith with a little bit of graduation hecticness over there. Otherwise, we just participated in a multi-agency water rescue training that encompassed Halifax Hospital, lifeguards, evac, all the fire rescues, and the Sheriff's Office. That was great training going into summer, and we'll look forward to our 3rd year on the beach being another positive year at the beach. So that's all I got.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Sheriff. I just want to say thank you to your department. We had a couple incidents in my family this week. So my father had a heart attack he had a stroke. My husband had a heart attack. My father had a heart attack, stroke driving, and made the wrong turn off of the exit, went left instead of right, ended up all the way in Osteen. And I got a call from his phone from one of your deputies and said, we're going to stay here and wait for you. I was on my way from Daytona. And I just want to say thank you, because he was so disoriented. He recognized me, but not the car I was in, because I was in my husband's car. And the officer said, is this your daughter? Yes. Well, then go with her. It's safe to get in the car. So I just want to say thank you, because that was a plug.
Omar will find out who that was and make sure they know that.
Thank you. And if you let me know, I'll send him a note too. I just really I mean, it was so crazy that night, and he was so disoriented. So the fact that they calmed him down and had him sit, gave him water, he was at a gas station, so it was okay, but he was safe, and I just want to thank you for that.
How is he doing now?
We're waiting for scheduling. He has a 80% blockage in his carotid artery, so we're waiting for the scheduling to see what they're going to do. So I'm going there right after this.
Well, having met him, he is ornery, so he'll do really well.
Oh, he's having a good old time with the nurses. He's 86 years old, and he's enjoying it. Thank you.
Mayor?
I just want to say again that I appreciate everyone's efforts, and the results are shown in the statistics. And so I believe that we have a really strong relationship between DeBerry and our local unit, as well as everyone across your organization, Sheriff. And I am continue to be very, very pleased with how this works out for both of us.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you all, and to all you mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. And for I didn't mean to promote you, Lieutenant Cobb. I know you have been referred to as a mother on the beach before, so enjoy your Sunday as well.